big news now coming in from Maharashtra. This could be Uddhav Thackeray's last-ditch effort to save the sinking Shiv Sena. As we have known it, Uddhav Thackeray is sending a message to rebels again in Guwahati. Uddhav Thackeray, as this probably will be the last appeal, and Uddhav Thackeray says, I quote him here, this is a message to the rebel MLAs. Do not fall prey to the missteps. Who possibly are the rebel MLAs falling a prey to? Is it reference to the BJP? Is it a reference to Eknath Shinde specifically? Pankaj Upadhyay will be telling us more about it. Numbers not with him, Pankaj, but still he's ensuring that last appeals do go out as the BJP huddle is in Delhi.
Pooja, this is a big breaking news coming at this point of time. Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, has reached out to the rebel camp in Guwahati. Remember, just a few days back, Uddhav Thackeray had maintained a very strong and angry stance against these rebel camps. He had maintained that if these members were true to the ideology of late Balasaheb Thackeray, then they would have stayed with him. They would have communicated that feelings and not stabbed him in the back. In fact, the senior spokesperson of the Shiv Sena, Sanjay Raut, had used derogatory words and had said that all these people are like corpses now. They don't have any soul, and only their dead bodies would be coming here. You know, even though he said this metaphorically, the fact remains that hurt the sentiments of the rebel group. Today, it seems that this is an appeasement exercise by, or perhaps the last tactic at hand. Uddhav Thackeray clearly realizing that the situation is slipping out of his hand, and now he has made an appeal to the rebel camp. I'll read out what Uddhav Thackeray has said in this appeal to the rebel camp in Guwahati. He says, "You have been stuck in Guwahati for the last few days. Every day, new information is coming out about you. Many of you are still in touch." Now, this is contradictory. Even though Shiv Sena has been clearly maintaining that 10 to 15 MLAs are continuously in touch with Uddhav Thackeray. Just a few moments back, India Today broke the story of how Uday Samant, the latest entrant into the rebel camp, had maintained that there is no pressure on them and they totally support the leadership of Eknath Shinde.
What we see here, what Uddhav Thackeray is doing, he's also trying to play the family card. For him to say that your family members, while you're there in Guwahati, they are contacting me and they are conveying to me, and I'll just read out and quote what Uddhav Thackeray's statement is. I respect your feelings because I'm the head of Shiv Sena's family, reiterating there that it's still under my leadership. The family members of some of you MLAs, as we are breaking this big news, he says, have contacted me, conveyed their feelings to me. Get rid of this confusion. There is definitely a way out of it. We will sit together, find a way out. Do not fall prey to anyone's misstep. The honor given to you by Shiv Sena, you will not find it anywhere. Come forward, speak to me as Shiv Sena party chief and family head. I'm worried about you. Pankaj, this is as emotional as it can get. This, as you can tell us, this brings in the family. Pankaj, this brings in the emotional quotient that I'm still the Shiv Sena head. Come speak to me. But this also is a cautionary statement, isn't it? Go ahead.
Pooja, all sorts of tactics are being deployed right now. Emotional tactics, fear tactics. You know, he'll try each and every tactic in the book because he clearly realizes that the situation is slowly slipping out of his hands. He does not have the numbers. He does not have the political momentum at all. The Eknath Shinde camp is getting logistical help from the superpower which Eknath Shinde camp was talking about. And at a point of time when Devendra Fadnavis has marched to Delhi and has become clear that he would be visiting Amit Shah and he would perhaps be getting a green nod from the central leadership, and then the next action could be in Mumbai and the governor could give certain orders to the state government, perhaps to approve their majority on the floor of the house. Before that happens, Uddhav Thackeray wants to have this last exercise.
But Pankaj, will this work? That is the big question. For over a week, the rebel MLAs have been in Guwahati. They clearly know that Shiv Sena, as under Uddhav Thackeray, is trying to approach them. This is an emotional message for sure. This is also saying you'll not get this respect that you got in Shiv Sena anywhere else. But do you think at this point has that bridge been burnt? Or perhaps it could work? How do you see this?
Well, I think it's a little too late now. The rebel camp has already taken their stance.
Yes.
You know, and the kind of activities that we've been seeing, on ground zero is a clear testimony of the fact that perhaps, Uddhav Thackeray just might have also realized that it's become a little too late. Is there any significance to the fact that the cabinet meet was to be held at around 2:30 and that has now been postponed to 5:30? We do not know what is happening in this interim. Sharad Pawar, Nana Patole, Uddhav Thackeray, all of these big leaders already have had a meeting with Uddhav Thackeray. Devendra Fadnavis, this is big news that he's marched from Mumbai after having the meeting with the core committee yesterday, and he is now in Delhi. The Eknath Shinde camp is also saying that very soon they're going to fly down to Mumbai as well. And now the appeal from Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray. Of course, as far as Mumbai is concerned, we have seen some sort of a support that is coming in for Uddhav Thackeray, but outside Mumbai, within the ranks and files, there seems to be a lot of support for Eknath Shinde camp as well. Clearly, as far as the legislature party is concerned, it is very clear Uddhav Thackeray has no grip over the party now. But this is the last attempt, an emotional attempt by Uddhav Thackeray to the rebel camp. He says, return, you are still Shiv Senics.
Give us three takeaways, Pankaj, from this letter that I believe is written in Marathi language, and we are help translating it here. Give us three big takeaways that you're seeing from Uddhav Thackeray's Sena right now, because if rebel MLAs who are watching India Today right now and tracking all the latest, what do you think Uddhav Thackeray's three big appeals are from the statement that he sent out, possibly a last-ditch effort as the BJP is meeting in a top huddle in the national capital?
Senior Shiv Sena leader Vinayak Raut was here a few moments back. I interviewed him and he charged the Bharatiya Janata Party for this entire crisis, this political crisis in the state of Maharashtra. He says Shiv Sena knew from the very beginning that Bharatiya Janata Party was playing an important role, but today that Devendra Fadnavis has marched to Delhi, it's a clear indication that this political crisis in the state has been caused none other than by the Bharatiya Janata Party. My next question was, what if there is a floor test? What is going to be the next plan of action of Shiv Sena? Vinayak Raut said that they will see what they have to do, and he was very, very agitated. He also hinted that perhaps Shiv Sena will be knocking on the doors of the court as well, and he also charged the BJP of spreading misinformation. He said this is all the doing of the Bharatiya Janata Party, but still somehow maintain that around 10 to 15 MLAs are still in touch with Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray. Interestingly, yesterday also when I interviewed Aditya Thackeray, Aditya maintained that there are 10 to 15 MLAs in touch with Uddhav Thackeray, and once these MLAs land in Mumbai, the tide is going to change. Whether who's to be believed right now, because many of the MLAs in a very emphatic tone releasing videos have clearly maintained that they accept the leadership of Eknath Shinde and that they are under no pressure whatsoever. In fact, some time back, Eknath Shinde even tweeted saying that even though the Sena faction in Mumbai is saying that there are so many MLAs in touch with Uddhav Thackeray, why doesn't Shiv Sena spell out the names of all those MLAs? So interesting turn of events by the hour. Now the ball is going to be in Governor's house. It remains to be seen what happens from here on. But the big developments are that Devendra Fadnavis has reached Delhi. He is set to meet Amit Shah.